Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers podcast. We are back, running it back again today for another, Tuesday show. We don't do a lot of Tuesday shows, but doing something a little bit different this offseason. Trying to get you some close or some tight, quick content. We got some news today. Shohei Ohtani, surgery on that shoulder, the injury he suffered during the World Series. We got Roki Sasaki news. We haven't we have not spoken a lot about the Roki Sasaki angle on the channel yet, so we'll dive into that and more on another edition of All Dodgers Live here. Let's bring in my guy Kevin. Oh, wrong button, definitely the wrong button there. Almost broke things, but Kevin joining us in the chat. What's going on, Kevin? As Noah said at the top of the chat there, in case you forgot, we are still World Series champions, so it's a good time to be alive, my friend.
It is a great time, and hopefully we can provide a little bit of distraction for this very unremarkable Tuesday.
Yeah, nothing special about this Taco Tuesday, guys, but let's dive into it. Shoulder surgery for Shohei Ohtani. Shocking to see the news, not at all surprising. I liked your tweet about it, by the way, Kev. You're talking about how the words, the verbiage the Dodgers used. Definitely much more of an injury than they let on. Of course, you don't tell people in the World Series. You don't tell the Yankees in the World Series that, hey, our superstar at the leadoff spot has this injury. But yeah, labrum surgery on his left shoulder, arthroscopic. Pretty much a less invasive surgery. Expected to be fully ready for spring training. Anything shocking about this? The expectation it shouldn't affect his pitching. Could it affect the power? What do you think about the Ohtani surgery at this point in the offseason?
So it could affect his power. One thing that somebody reminded me of is it's his left shoulder, and I know they made the comparison that it was Cody Bellinger, like it was the same injury as Cody Bellinger, but that was Cody's right shoulder. That was his lead shoulder. Mm-hmm. This is a little bit his follow through, really. So it might not sap his power nearly as much as a Cody. Or I think Matt Kemp had the same surgery as well. So it could. I'm not super familiar with like lead shoulders or back shoulders.
Yeah.
I know if it was his lead shoulder, we could definitely expect him to like basically turn into Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing, by the way.
Definitely not a bad thing. Yeah. People worrying about the power for sure. We heard after game 2, Dodgers are flying to the East Coast. I think he stayed back, or eventually when he got to Yankee Stadium, he was taking some swings off the tee, hitting the ball hard, 102 miles per hour. Even a slightly reduced Shohei Ohtani is not going to be like the worst player in baseball. And like you said, having it be the kind of the back shoulder, it is the power shoulder. It's more of a drive shoulder. You would think that if it was the lead, that right shoulder, I mean, that pull, needing to pull the bat through, there's definitely more of an effect there. There's more of a cause for concern. The fact that he was able to play
longer.
Yeah,
he hold on to the bat longer for Shohei with his right arm as opposed to his left.
Mr. Summer Obe says only kryptonite will zap Shohei Ohtani's power, and we like that. Nothing will stop the Shohei. He said he wants to win 9 more titles. But there's your Shohei Ohtani news. Super quick, easy. Dodgers dumping it here on election day. So good job on the Dodgers for just saying, fuck it. Nobody's paying attention to us right now. Right. Everybody's paying attention to the Dodgers. But still, it sucks. I said it before. I'll say it again. Do not expect to see Shohei Ohtani stealing 50 bases. Don't expect him to see him stealing 20, 15 bases next year. Player. Perfect time. He says, do you think he'll lay off the SBs moving forward? Oh, yeah. Big league. I mean, he will.
Yeah, he even said he made it a point this year to increase his stolen bases because he couldn't pitch, so he wanted to increase his effectiveness on the field. With him pitching, I would expect him to maybe swipe 20 bags. He'll be much more choosy about it. It'll be in more key situations as opposed to, hey man, I'm on first, I'm just going.
Yeah, exactly. He was. I mean, once it hit a certain point, he was like, all right, I got to go for a record, which is fine. And then he started chasing 60. He got it out of the way. Hopefully his final season just hitting. He got that kind of number out of the way. But there's your Ohtani news. Quickly, we're going to talk about Bet Online, because Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all things online betting, from the earliest odds to in-game live betting. BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch games as they happen. They have the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, NHL, entertainment props. There's political props. I don't know how much longer they have political props because this is kind of like that big day. Anyways, head to BetOnline today. Get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Of course, this is if you can in your area. BetOnline, the game starts here. Let's go ahead and bring Kev back in here. Let's spin into the big one. This is the thumbnail for the video. This is the big thing. I don't know if I've avoided talking about it, but Roki Sasaki, the same way I avoided talking about Yamamoto until we knew he was going to be posted, and then eventually he became a Dodger last winter. I just talking a lot about Roki Sasaki didn't interest me, but give the people a super high level like intro paragraph, sentence here, whatever, into what Roki Sasaki is as a player.
He's a right-handed pitcher. For anybody who didn't know, he touches 102. He's flashed it. He did suffer an injury. They're saying it might have just been arm fatigue. So he was more sitting 97 with a four-seam fastball. He just like Yamamoto, most of these Japanese pitchers, does have a splitter, and then he pairs that with a slider to go with. So he's really a three-pitch pitcher. He's 23 years old, very young. He hasn't had the 6-year minimum and 25-year age requirement to avoid kind of the restrictions that'll be on his potential contract if he gets posted this offseason. So any team that picks him up, it's going to be pretty much on the cheap. It'll be like a minor league deal.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen this in the past with Shohei Ohtani. Funny enough, he was one of those guys who didn't meet the requirements to be posted, and for his previous team to make lots and lots of money. So he said, "F you, I want out," and the Angels picked him up, paid him very little for most of his career, and then Artie said, "Oh, you want to get paid now? Go play somewhere else." But yeah, the big story is, or the big headlines are, well, one, that he's obviously been linked. Dodgers called a heavily favored in to sign Roki Sasaki this winter, and I know a lot of people are talking about this right now. Certain former co-hosts of mine will talk about it probably 8 times a day for the next couple of weeks. So go get the bag, my dude. But where things started making a little bit of a twist, or taking a little bit of a twist, is him rejecting that contract with the, was it Chiba Lot? Yeah. How do you say it?
I think it's Chiba Lotte. I've never even heard
the Marines, his current NPB team, the Marines. So what does this mean? Doesn't mean very much. It means that the Marines still, control him. They still have team control over him. But what they wanted to pay him, he's like, nah, you guys know I want to go to Major League Baseball. And he's made that painfully clear, made that apparent. His desires are well known at this point. He wanted to be in MLB last year. Some would argue he wanted to be a Dodger last year as well. So he doesn't want to be there anymore. And if it means sacrificing some immediate money, it feels like he's pretty okay with it. Again, Kylie McDaniel, ESPN, the other thing, and as well, no, Kylie's was indications are the Marines are going to post him. They're kind of tired of going through the song and dance. Ken Rosenthal, other insiders, I think it was also Kylie, who said, was the line, Dodgers heavily favored to sign Roki this winter. And, that adds another, top line, potential front line ace to your rotation. He's somebody who can touch 100 miles an hour with his fastball. Like you mentioned, did have a little bit of injury. The velo was down this year. But you add him in with Shohei Ohtani in the front of that rotation, Yamamoto, you hope Glasnow's back. And then there's a lot of other pieces. Suddenly, that's, what right now feels like kind of, I wouldn't say a weak, but still a thin starting rotation heading towards 2025. That brings one more piece that has, ace level, like another frontline starter, number one starter level of production at the top of the lineup. So this is something, this is somebody that fans should be clamoring for if he's posted. Again, if the Dodgers are saying, or people are saying the Dodgers are heavily favored, I feel pretty confident in that as well. I think he's made it painfully clear also he wants to be a Dodger.
Yeah, I want to push back a little bit. I think so. In comparison to like Yoshinobu Yamamoto is the easiest comp because it literally happened last year. Sasaki is much more of a prospect. He is not a finished product by any means. He has some unique shapes on his fastball that allow it to be effective. And like we saw with Yamamoto, he had a very similar profile, a unique shape to his four-seam fastball. When he came over to MLB and they used a different ball, all of a sudden that four-seam fastball became a liability. So Sasaki's not going to come over here and be like Paul Skeens. He's not going to just show up and just blow the doors off everybody. And, he could win, Rookie of the Year, but that's like way down the road. Who cares? He's not that. He is going to be a work in progress. He is much more of a prospect. So if you add him to this rotation, he's going to be like a 4-5. But what is great about it is it's a really cheap 4-5. And when you're already paying guys like Yamamoto, Glasnow, Shohei, having cheap arms like this, controllable cheap assets, is key to sustaining or keeping that window open.
And understanding that next year, and we're going to do a whole deep dive in the starting rotation situation in a future video, probably this week, maybe early next week. But understanding that beyond the top three, I already mentioned with Glasnow. Shohei Ohtani missed last year pitching. He's never really had a fully healthy season pitching and hitting and doing both things. So there's one factor there. Glasnow ended the season on the injured list with an elbow. Kyle Hurt is missing the entirety of the 2025 season. River Ryan is missing that. Emmett Sheehan missed last year. Will is a dude who'll be back, probably in June, maybe July at the latest, earliest in May. But still, you didn't see him. So there's just a lot of question marks in that rotation if you completely rely on in-house. A bunch of talent, no doubt, a bunch of talent, as much as I, avoid remembering Bobby Miller these days. He's somebody who's in the mix there as well, but didn't have a great year. We haven't seen Tony Gonsolin in a while. He's going to be in the mix. Dustin May will also be in the mix, but to have somebody else that gives you some upside, and again, that front of the rotation upside, I think that's a very important piece. And it gives them the opportunities to go out and mix in some other pieces, maybe one more piece in free agency.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not trying to poo-poo the idea, or I'm just trying to rein in expectations a little bit. He definitely has ace caliber upside, but he's not a finished product. He's not nearly. Yamamoto's came over a much more polished pitcher. Zip code 0 with the $2 super chat. Odds that Max Fried is a Dodger 2025. The great segue, because you asked, or you said, maybe go get another piece. Max Fried is definitely somebody that I think the Dodgers will at least kick the tires on. I don't know what his market's going to look like, but he's another Harvard Westlake kid, so don't see why he wouldn't want to be a Dodger.
Yeah, he's going to command less than your Blake Snells and your Corbin Burns. Very good pitcher. Doesn't necessarily carry the punch, doesn't carry the strikeout. Still, the numbers show very good pitcher, and I need to see a left-handed arm in that starting rotation. Didn't mention Clayton Kershaw. He's somebody who has his own surgeries coming up tomorrow. Dr. Neil Elatrash getting his retainer covered by the Dodgers this week. Has the toe thing, has the knee thing. Kirsch said, during the parade at Dodger Stadium, he said, probably won't be there on day one, but he will be back, as we talked about last night on the channel. If you guys missed it, check it out. But yeah, he's somebody who will be back, but still, there's more question marks there. Another name I forgot to mention, Gavin Stone, also missing the entirety of the year with shoulder surgery. But appreciate you guys hanging out with us so far. If you would not mind, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. We'll talk more about it tomorrow, but we passed the 8,000 subscriber mark overnight, so appreciate you guys for tuning in, tubing in, supporting the channel. Give the video a thumbs up if you want Roki Sasaki to be a Dodger, and we'll keep trudging forward with this. Let's talk more Sasaki. So again, we know where where his status is at right now. The hang up is the Marines, and people did confirm Chiba Lotte, so Lotte. Now we remember, it's in our brains. But the Marines, his current team, obviously they want a lot of money for arguably the most talented pitcher left in the league right now. So there is, there are some hangups with him being posted. They want their money. He wants out. Like you mentioned at the top of this part of the show, there is an age kind of, I don't know if you want to call it restriction, but with MLB rules, foreign-born players under 25 with fewer than 6 years of pro service are subject to that international bonus pool restriction, which means teams can't just go out and give them all of the money like you were talking about the way the Dodgers did with Yamamoto. They just said, here, money, come to LA, please. And then he was like, okay, I can do that, and won a World Series. We also kind of danced around the Shohei Ohtani connection. His path was similar. He was 22 years old when he came to MLB. The contract with Anaheim, very, very small. So again, we touched on that's why Yamamoto got so much more. I think it's got to come down to the fact that for a second year in a row, I don't think he wants, if he doesn't want to be there, that just feels like it's, I don't know how much PR nightmares are a thing in Japan, but it just feels like it would be almost a PR nightmare. If you know this guy does not want to be pitching for you, he wants to go, explore different horizons or what have you. At some point, it feels like you have to honor it. So with that in mind, what do you think the next few, for everybody fully understanding, neither of us are experts in this shit. We've gone through it. We've experienced it. We've watched a lot of baseball. We've talked a lot of baseball. We've covered baseball. We'll call it professionally. I mean, it's professionally, whatever. You get money for it.
Got paid for it.
You get money for it. It is professionally. But in your expert-ish opinion on this, what do you think the next few days, few weeks could look like in this Sasaki saga?
So I believe, do we know what the deadline is to get posted? I think the deadline is December 15th is the date to get posted.
That's the name. That's the name. That's the number. That's the date I do remember.
Yeah, so he has until December 15th to be posted, and then I believe it can run into the middle of January. Basically, it's 30 days from that, if I remember the Yamamoto.
The negotiation window, yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So
because I definitely wouldn't have remembered that right now.
Oh, I just remember writing about it a lot last year. So he has until December 15th to get posted. Then he'll have 30 days, and then at which point he'll get to negotiate with all the teams. Like you mentioned, he's going to be subject to those restrictions, that international pool money. So teams have certain money that's allocated specifically for international signings, and they get a certain amount of it for a whole year. Some teams will use it in like the DSL or not DSL, but like in the DR or like everywhere else. Notably, the Dodgers have the most money in international pool remaining, so they can offer him the most amount of money. Yeah. As far as the next couple days, it's kind of a wait and see. Nobody really knows. This is sort of unprecedented since Shohei, but even Shohei was a different situation because he was a two-way player, and he wanted like that was a special circumstance because I don't think MPB wanted him to keep playing two ways. Mm-hmm. With Sasaki, like I think he sees the writing on the wall. He knows eventually he will be a major league starter at some point, and I think like the way I rate it is he just wants to be here and just get that experience now, like because you can see the difference in Yamamoto in NPB and now. They're not two totally different guys, but he has different production. The pitch looks different, stuff like that. So I think he wants to come over. When that happens, I mean, we got 40 days potentially before that happens.
So everybody enjoy it. Enjoy the ride a little bit here. It's worth noting David Sampson, who I think he's a former agent or something like that. I forget how it goes. A former MLB exec, David Sampson, joined the boys over at Foul Territory today talking about how, one of the things he mentioned is you get around some of the even if the Dodgers have the most amount of international pool money right now, it's still kind of chump change compared to what these people are going to get, and comparatively to what you saw Yamamoto get. Like we're talking about, what is it, $2.5-3 million?
It's in the twos. It's not. It's in the twos.
Something very. It's still not. It changed my life for sure. I'm pretty sure it changed Kevin's life, but it's not going to change their life a whole lot. But where this kid Sasaki could make a lot of money himself, of course, is endorsements. The way we see Shohei raking in the bills and bills and bills. One last point I wanted to talk about, and of everybody here that's currently on video, you are the most of Japanese descent. So there's one kind of narrative that comes out of MPB, and that sort of changed this offseason with Yamamoto signing after Ohtani. So let's set it up like this. Everybody's saying the Dodgers are favored. Could he still sign elsewhere? Yes. There are some rumors of maybe Sasaki or some Japanese players kind of preferring that smaller market, something the Dodgers absolutely are not. But also, Japanese players historically haven't necessarily always like splitting the star power, that spotlight, with other countrymen on their teams. I personally feel like for them to make rebuild Los Angeles Samurai, I think that's something that now is probably feeling more fun for Sasaki to come here and learn with Shohei, learn with Yamamoto on the team that has, I think somebody put in the chat, the odds might have the Padres favored right now to win the World Series next year. I don't care. The Dodgers are the favorites to win, but you want to win, you want to get better. Do you care? Do you think he cares about playing with two former NPB stars?
It's so difficult because, I'm a Dodgers fan. And so if I'm a pitcher and we're not talking a difference in hundreds of millions of dollars. We're talking the difference of like hundreds of thousands. Again, life-changing money for us, but for a professional baseball player, not so much. I would look at a place that I think could develop me well as a pitcher, and the two places that I could think of are the Padres and the Dodgers, and there's Japanese players on both teams. So it's tough to really make the old thought process of, oh, well, they don't like playing together. It's because they wanted to make a name for themselves. They wanted to be the biggest Japanese player.
Yeah.
That's just not happening for the next 10 years. There's Shohei Ohtani. Roki Sasaki could be amazing. Shohei is going to exist. So I think he's going to have to put that aside a little bit. I think it would be fun now at this point, when you kind of put, not that it's ego, but you put that kind of mindset aside and go, okay, well, no matter where I go, it's kind of just going to be in Shohei's shadow. Might as well go play with him and have fun with guys that, and we've talked about language barriers and stuff like that. That matters. That matters a lot to these guys. So I think he would want to go somewhere maybe a little bit more comfortable. And hey, they won the WBC championship together. He just watched Yamamoto and Shohei do it together again. Why not him?
Yeah, why not us? It was always supposed to be us. But, I agree with what the experts are saying. I do feel in my heart of hearts that the Dodgers are the clubhouse leader right now, but other teams can sneak up. The Padres, very, very good ball club. And yeah, I think the Yu Darvish factor. If we're talking about idols, Darvish is Shohei's idol. There's something more, there's something special. There would be something special for somebody like a Roki Sasaki to pitch a song alongside a Yu Darvish type. But hey, the hope is, it ends up being Los Angeles. But that's it. We wanted to do a quick one here on this, trying to do more quick, concise content. Don't worry, the long conversations. We'll still be hanging out this offseason. Thursday, we'll have a full show. Probably won't do anything tomorrow unless the world explodes. But Thursday should be a full show. So make sure you guys tune in 6 o'clock Pacific time. I believe Kevin will be there.
Should be. No reason.
Okay, yeah, because we haven't talked about it yet until just now when I put him on the spot. But guys, thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this at all, do hit that like button. Consider hitting that subscribe button. Trying to get to 9,000 subs now, and you could help us be one of those. It goes a long way. Just hitting that button. It's completely free. I'll say it again. I'll say it all the shows. If you're looking for a different way to support the show, check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/RealFRG, or check out YouTube members, $5 a month, and you get to join us in our Discord server as well. You get access there where we're talking about baseball all day long. You guys missed a hell of a conversation about Juan Soto today in the Discord. So sign up. It's a different way to support the channel, and you get a little bit of something out of it. But if you don't want to, just subscribe and join us whenever we're going live. We'll be here all off season long. All Dodgers is presented by Bet Online. Do all those things I said earlier. I'm Real FRG on the social medias. That guy is at Skinner7Kevin on the Twitter. Give him a follow, and we'll see you on the next one of these things. Okay, bye.